Hello, Commanders fans. Today we have some hot news that you can't miss, so get ready because there's a lot of important information coming your way. Before we begin, we'd like to take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and stay up to date on all the news about our Washington Commanders. Don't forget to leave a like, which greatly strengthens our community and helps bring this content to the most passionate fans of the team. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news.
The Commanders officially rule out Terry McLaurin. The Washington Commanders have officially confirmed two significant absences for this weekend's game. Quarterback Jayden Daniels and wide receiver Terry McLaurin are out. The team announced on Friday that Daniels, who has been dealing with a problem in his left elbow, will not be available to the coaching staff, temporarily interrupting the good rhythm he had been showing in his rookie season. The absence of the young quarterback represents a major challenge for Washington's offense, which will now need to adjust its game plan with the backup taking command of the offense. In addition, the Commanders also ruled out Terry McLaurin, who continues to deal with a quadriceps injury. The star initially suffered the problem in Week 3, which caused him to miss 4 consecutive games. He returned in Week 8, making an immediate impact. 3 receptions for 54 yards and a spectacular touchdown, showing that he is still one of the most reliable targets on the roster. However, McLaurin aggravated his injury and had to leave the field after participating in 25 of the 53 offensive snaps in that game. With the worsening of his condition, the receiver also missed Week 9, and now the team has confirmed that he will not play in this round. This season, McLaurin has accumulated 13 receptions, 203 yards, and 1 touchdown. Modest numbers by his standards, but reflecting the physical difficulties he has faced in recent weeks. On defense, the team is still monitoring the situation of some important players. Defensive tackle Eddie Goldman, concussion, safety Quan Martin, hamstring, and safety Tyler Owens, hamstring/neck, have been listed as questionable and will be evaluated until moments before the game. To bolster the team's depth, Washington signed safety Daryl Worley to the practice squad earlier this week. The veteran could be promoted to the active roster if there is a last-minute need in the secondary. The good news is that all the other players who were injured during the week have been cleared to play, including offensive tackle Lermy Tunsil, hamstring, and linebacker Bobby Wagner, both key players in their respective units.
Ian Rappaport just released the Jayden Daniels update that Commander fans have been eagerly awaiting. That's good news. Fans have been anxiously awaiting news about quarterback Jayden Daniels after he suffered a dislocated elbow in Week 9. The Washington Commanders placed veteran cornerback Marshawn Lattimore and wide receiver Luke McCaffrey on the injured reserve list almost immediately after the game. They didn't do the same with their star player. Coach Dan Quinn revealed that the Commanders were still gathering information. X-rays came back negative, which was encouraging, but he wasn't out of the woods yet. However, a recent report from an inside source suggests things could have been much worse. And there's even the possibility that the second overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft could return sooner than initially expected. The Commanders may still bring Jayden Daniels back sometime in 2025. Ian Rappaport of NFL Network revealed that Daniels suffered no ligament damage and will not require surgery. He remains sidelined indefinitely, but the Commanders will not place him on the injured reserve list. This gives hope that he may triumphantly return to the starting lineup at some point, although there is no way to predict for sure when that will happen. MRI scans and medical evaluations of Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels have revealed positive news, as the dislocation in his left elbow is not as severe as initially anticipated. There is no ligament damage, and he will not require surgery. Daniels will not be immediately placed on the injured list. Amidst all the gloomy atmosphere surrounding Washington's injuries, this is undoubtedly a bright spot. The situation looked grim for Daniels after the horrific fall on Sunday Night Football, but the fact that there was no structural or ligament damage is an extremely encouraging development. The Commanders will now be constantly evaluating Daniels, who is undergoing rehabilitation in hopes of being cleared to play later this season. But if Washington continues to lose, it raises the question of whether it makes sense to keep him on the offensive line. The situation remains precarious.
Daniels is an elite talent when healthy, but he's playing without his full supporting cast of receivers and with an offensive line that has begun to crumble under pressure. He's trying to solve the situation practically alone, and Quinn has paid a high price for keeping him on the field for too long. That's good news, but it remains to be seen if this will change anything regarding Daniels' participation this season.
Commanders linked to a bold trade for a Pro Bowl star that could have disastrous consequences. This misses the mark. The Washington Commanders went all in this offseason with two bold trades that propelled them into win-now mode. Adam Peters was right to take bigger risks, but the general manager should also have known that it didn't work out. Peters remained unchanged on the 2025 trade deadline. Fans weren't expecting major changes, especially regarding arrivals. It was surprising not to see any departures, but either no offers came in or the Commanders didn't receive any acceptable offers. Washington maintains confidence in the current roster, but it's hard to look at the team's current situation and not think that big changes are coming during the offseason. The Commanders have over $84 million in projected salary cap space, a figure that could increase if there are agreements for contract restructurings and early releases. They only have 6 picks in the 2026 NFL Draft, but that hasn't stopped one analyst from pointing them out as the ideal destination for a trade involving a Pro Bowl-selected wide receiver. The Commanders are linked to a bold preseason trade to sign Pro Bowl-selected wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. Mo Moton of Bleacher Report believed the Commanders might try to sign Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. He struggled in his second year in the league, and the AFC South team recently acquired Jacoby Myers via trade. Furthermore, his close relationship with Washington Redskins quarterback Jayden Daniels should also be taken into consideration. If the Jaguars elevate Hunter's status when he's healthy and Myers builds a good connection with quarterback Trevor Lawrence, Thomas could become expendable. Regardless of how the 2025 season ends for Thomas, he will attract several suitors due to his impressive first year in the league. Teams will be more than willing to trade a first-round pick and more to have him in the passing attack. Daniels would certainly love to play with Thomas again. The duo shone together at LSU, where the dynamic quarterback won the Heisman Trophy. This has the potential to boost the receiver's career, but it could also have a disastrous effect. The Commanders have needs, many of them. Signing a wide receiver would be a priority, but giving up high-profile draft picks for Thomas or any other player is out of the question. Peters doesn't have a second-round pick due to the Laramie Tunsil trade. He also doesn't have a fourth-round pick as part of the compensation for Marshawn Lattimore. Even if the Commanders wanted Thomas, they might not have the necessary resources to close the deal, and that would impact how Washington would handle other obvious problems, such as the linebacker, edge rusher, and secondary positions. Thomas didn't become a bad player overnight. He's dealing with some confidence issues, but his rise as a rookie would make him a highly sought-after player should the Jaguars prove receptive to offers.